If right now your business is growing, but it is feeling messier and more chaotic by the day, you are not alone. Most founders hit a point where their constant growth brings more complexity, brings more stress, and ultimately starts to slow growth down. So today in this video, I want to talk you through how to operationalize growth. What are the key systems and structures that you need so you are able to grow your business quickly, sustainably, and without the day-to-day chaos so that you can hit your goals faster. So I often joke with my clients that our job at Spyglass Ops is to help companies go through puberty, because that's often how it feels, right? We're in that awkward, messy middle of like, we're not a kid anymore. We've grown up, we've figured some things out, but we certainly are not like a big company and we do things all the right way in the way that big companies do it. We're in that messy middle. We're in puberty where we are growing and learning how to become a quote unquote real business, right? And puberty is awkward. And so when we go in and we look at our clients' businesses, especially those that have grown really, really fast, it always reminds me of like that 13-year-old boy that like shot up a foot overnight and literally is just so awkward in his body now because he doesn't know what to do with all of this body because he just grew so fast, right? We outgrew the rate at which our systems and our processes could keep up. And that is what most often happens, which is that as we grow and scale, the systems and the structures that got us here will not get us there. The things that we built when we were small and had a tiny team and were just figuring things out, all of a sudden start to fail. Because now we're this much bigger company, but we're operating the same way as we did when we were much smaller. And all that happens is that structure and those systems start to break because they were not built to scale us to the size that we are today. And now we're that awkward giant teenager trying to figure out how to navigate ourselves with old systems and old structures. So if we want to grow for sustainable growth and scale, we need to update those systems and those structures. We need to update how work gets done so that we can manage the increasing what's called complexity creep. Okay, so this is a core concept around scaling businesses, that the complexity within your business as your company grows, right? If your company is growing like this, the complexity increases in your business like this. It does not follow linear 1-to-1 ratio, right? So your old systems and structures will begin to break. Why? Because those systems and structures were not built for complexity. Complexity and something called complexity creep is what breaks most businesses, is what causes the day-to-day fires and the day-to-day drop balls and the day-to-day chaos. So we need to understand what is complexity creep and how does it work so we can build systems and structures that will adjust and take that into account as we grow. Complexity creep, very simply, is that as your business is growing, right? Let's say that your business grows in like some perfectly straight line. The level of complexity in that business does not follow a straight line. It follows a curve, like an exponential curve. The bigger your company becomes, the more work that needs to be done, the more people that you hire creates a compound effect to the complexity within the business. And the easiest way that I can break this down is think of people talking. If our team is 2 people, well, communication can only flow 2 ways, right? It can flow from me to you, or it can flow from you to me. But what happens when we introduce a third person? Now communication doesn't flow 3 ways, it flows 6 ways. It could be you to me to them, me to you, me to them to me, them to you. So when it comes to something like communication, when we go from 2 people to 3 people, we haven't doubled the amount of potential communication and the complexity of that communication. We have 3x'd it. What happens if we add a 4th person into the mix? Now there's 16 potential ways that communication could flow within this group, right? So for this simple reason, complexity follows a compound exponential curve. Every time we add a new person, and this is also true for every time we add a new product, every time we add a new task, the more and more we grow and pile into the business, the net complexity of that business starts to exponentially ramp up. And again, we had systems and structures that worked great when it was just 2 of us or 3 of us and the complexity was not that big. And now, as we're growing and scaling, the complexity is scaling so much faster than we are, and our processes and our systems are breaking in the face of it. So What are the major places where complexity breaks our businesses, and what do we need to do to solve for that? The number one place that complexity is going to show up and break things for you is going to be within your team, and specifically within a critical component of team building called role clarity. Very simply, who does what? Now that sounds incredibly simple, but you would be shocked that 90% of the 7 and 8-figure clients that we work with have absolutely no role clarity, and it is costing them time, efficiency, dropped balls, and growth. So the tool that you're going to need to create to solve for role clarity, which I'll get to in a moment, is called a job scorecard. The job scorecard is the single most powerful team building and leadership tool that I know of. And so what I have done is I've taken the templatized job scorecards that me and my team have built for the hundreds of clients that we've worked with, and we've compiled them into what we call a leadership scorecard. Grab a copy of the leadership scorecard. It is totally free. Grab that, it's in the description right below this video, pull it up, and then follow along as we start talking through job scorecards and why they're so essential. So what is role clarity and why does it matter? Why is this the place that breaks us? Again, it comes from behaviors and structures that totally worked when we were small. The way that I explain this is, have you ever on like a family reunion played backyard soccer, right? Like you and your dad versus your mom and your brother, and you all go into the backyard and it's 2v2 backyard soccer, and the goalpost is like a shoe in the grass, right? In 2v2 soccer, you and your dad are playing every role on the field, right? When the ball's over there, we're both offense. When the ball's over here, we're both defense. When the ball's coming towards the goal, we both jump into the goal, we try and play goalie, right? It's 2v2 backyard soccer, everyone's playing every role on the field, and it totally works. It totally works. Why? Because it's tiny backyard 2v2 soccer. But what would happen if the FIFA World Cup teams tried to play their game like it was 2v2 backyard soccer? The field is so much bigger. The team is so much bigger. How would it work if we kept running the team the same way? Where ball's over here, everyone chase after it. Ball's coming towards the goal, everybody jump into the goal, right? It would be ridiculous. Of course it wouldn't work. And yet that's exactly how most entrepreneurs start to build and scale their teams. Because again, when we were small, it was just 2v2. So everyone can do everything all the time. But now we have a team of 11 or 20. And that same approach of everyone just all hands on deck, where all of the hats, is now causing our team to have to run around this field, this much bigger field, chasing down every single ball. Every ball is every person's problem. And nobody knows, do you have this ball? Do I have this ball? Oh, I thought you had it. Oh, you didn't do that yesterday. Okay, well now I'll do it tomorrow. And all of this complexity creeps in because we don't have what we call role clarity. Role clarity is you're the goalie. Stay in the goal and stop the balls from coming through the goal. That is your whole job. You do not have to play any other role on the field. You over there, you're center forward. You score the goals, right? We need to update our role clarity for the same reason that professional soccer teams have clear and distinct roles on the field. Because now, not every ball is my ball. I know which balls belong to me. I know which balls belong to you. I know how you and I need to collaborate and pass balls back and forth to each other so that we can run the play. When we lack role clarity, everyone is running around, stepping on each other's toes, doubling up on the work, and let's be honest, dropping the ball way more because I thought you had it and you thought I had it. And you know the person who runs around the most? You, the founder. You end up being the MVP on that field, running around, chasing every single ball. And it's not your job. And it's not even necessary so long as we have role clarity. So role clarity, very simply, isn't just who does what. What it actually is what is a definition of success in every single role in our company, right? We need to define success of this is a goalie. This is what it means to be a goalie. These are the metrics and outcomes that the goalie is responsible for and that we will measure and hold them accountable to. And this is how the goalie interplays with all the other roles on the field. We need that level of definition for every single role. And that's what the job scorecard does. So you'll see in the leadership scorecard, 4 to 5 different job scorecard templates that you can use as a starting point to start to bring role clarity to your team. So that's number one, right? We have to grow from 2v2 soccer to 11v11 soccer, and we have to evolve role clarity so that our people can cover a much bigger field and they can work together way more effectively. It's going to reduce day-to-day crossed wires, day-to-day dropped balls. It's going to reduce the meetings because, again, not every ball belongs to every person, so not everyone needs to be in every conversation. It's going to reduce your Slack chatter. All of this friction and all of this complexity starts to drain away as we establish role clarity. So that's the human side. Let's then talk about the systems side, right? Because again, systems break. The systems that worked when we had 2 clients or 10 clients are now breaking that we have 30 clients or 50 clients, right? And really, client load is the easiest example here. When you had 2 clients, let's be honest, you probably had like a spreadsheet, if that, tracking all of the client information. Let's be honest, you probably just had all the client information in your brain. I can't keep 30 clients straight in my brain. Maybe we have a spreadsheet, but also now that we have 30 clients, that spreadsheet is looking really messy, very disorganized, can't find what I'm looking for. The information in there is not kept up to date, right? So again, the systems that worked great for us when we were small simply need to grow and evolve as we do, and they need to be built to handle exponentially increasing complexity. So the single most important system that needs to grow and evolve as your company does is what I call the single source of truth system. This is your back end project management system. And if you build this system correctly, you will grow faster with less day-to-day chaos, fewer meetings, increased team productivity, and increased team performance. This one system will do all of that. If you do not have a single source of truth, or if you do not build this system effectively and built for scale, then your company will slowly buckle and then break under the weight of its own complexity. So the single source of truth system is such an important system that I literally built an entire video walking you just through this system, how to build it and how to use it. So you can actually go and you can check out the next video. It should be popping up right here to do a deep dive into the systems side of this equation. What are the critical systems that we need across our business? And specifically, how do we create a single source of truth system that is going to be able to scale with our team, with our company, and handle the complexity that we are taking on, whether we know it or not, every single day. So I will see you over there in that next video so we can dig even further into this question of how do we scale our business as successfully as possible. See you over there.